Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. So I was going to do an objective and the importance of, if you can't be objective, at least acknowledging that you can't be objective for obvious reasons, later on tonight. Less than 5 minutes ago, somebody says on a message on Instagram, I see your content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. Does it pay the bills? Does it pay the bills? And I thought, I'll show you what I've made, right? And I can thank followers and stuff for that. Where's that sheet? Because I've got five social media platforms. I keep all the accounts on, I put them on the same page. Where is it? There it is. There you go. The top one is what I've earned in YouTube, then the other one Facebook, that one Instagram. Money? Pay for this? I think I am monetized on Instagram because the amount of followers and yada yada, I met all of the criteria. But if you ask me what I need to do to get money from my posts, I wouldn't have a clue. Honest to God, hope to die. I have no idea. I think I might be monetized on TikTok as well. I'm not sure. I know I haven't on Facebook, and I don't think I've reached the followers I need on YouTube. My content, what I do, it has never, not even a consideration, money, never. My content is mine and it is original. I own it and I wouldn't change a single word of what I do for any amount of money. I've had Facebook, I don't know how many, don't say that, breaches, TikTok, that it's like, what the? Truth. No, I don't get paid. It never was and never will be about money for me, ever. My content, I get up in the morning, got loads of things on my mind, loads of what I want to say, I come up and I say it. And sometimes I say, fuck. That is the truth. No, not a penny. It's not about that, ever. Objective, the importance of understanding, and I have to say this, I ended the last one talking about being objective and acknowledging. It's human nature. I love human nature stuff. So, because that message came and it made me laugh, I'll do this as well. Now, objective. This comes down to this again, the absolute light. Solar eclipse, no delay. I say I'm looking at things objectively. When I did the flat or round, pure logic, and I'm objective. That doesn't change. And if I did find myself bringing an opinion into it more than the facts, I would nudge, I hope I would nudge myself, anybody, anything I ever say, see if you can find where my opinion would override the facts. Usually, if there are facts there, my opinion will be with the facts. Logic, common sense. I would never go against the facts. It's really easy. I don't have to mix and match and be careful what I say. It is what it is. Boom. 1 + 1 = 2. It's easy. It's not complicated. Objective, right? It's, I say thinking for ourselves is everything. It is. But to think for ourselves, we need to be. If we're not, then we're not thinking for ourselves. Because if you're not objective, you're subjective. And that means, like for example, the solar eclipse and the delay, the light delay, there is no light delay. The end. It's not there. And anybody who witnesses and watches a solar eclipse play out will not see any light delay, not even a suggestion of the tiniest bit. Boom, boom, absolute light. But education. This is very important, right? Children, you must understand the early years. Mum, Dad, can I come and sleep in your bed? Little Billy, you're 8. I've been going to church since I was 4. Heaven. But there is a flip side to that coin, and it's hell. Whatever you pump into children in their growing years, their emotional learning years from between 0 and 7 or 8, 9, bang! That right there, whatever is pumped into them at that young age, that is where that's going to be their main compass. And some of those things will turn out to be seeds. And certain situations, bang! And it will wake up in them, right? This is what I say. This is what I mean when I say that is a seed that's been planted, because you all say the same thing. Light is the same as water coming out of a hose. Now, that is so illogical, ridiculous, anti-common sense. Every single science person, has probably at least once mentioned that to me. It's one of the comments that I get so often. Straight away, it's not somebody's original comment, because not 50,000 people would say it. Your inability to understand does not mean it's not real science. Things like that. Those things, those people who say those things, they think it's, hey, boom, boom, bang. Your inability, it's like you don't even know what you're talking about. And I usually go back with an original and say, your inability to understand that your post about my inability is basically a load of bollocks. These things are not accidents, folks, right? If a child goes to a certain school, let's say white people are bad, black people are bad, Chinese people are bad, Japanese people are bad, Spanish people are bad, German people. In a school, that's what the children get taught. They come out 15, 16, 17, and they wouldn't be like that. I hate this world. If children are taught to believe in themselves from day one, they will leave school and go do shit, productive stuff. They will believe in themselves. If you teach young children to pray in times of adversity, go on your knees and something bad happens, well, there's a lot to be said about that. I understand the God thing, but that is counterproductive for the people who are being taught that at an early age, because it means they're not going to act themselves when something happens, something traumatic, or it's, I get it, the God thing, but to not teach children to believe in themselves, I don't understand it, ever. The only people who wouldn't want children to be taught to believe in themselves would be people who would fear how intelligent and logical minded and go-getters they would be. It wouldn't be good for the system. It would turn the system upside down. These are the things, the reasons why I probably don't get monetized in certain places, because it's the truth. The speed of light, solar eclipse, and the way it plays out. Anybody who watches a solar eclipse and who is objective, like myself, will look at that, see the moon position itself in front of the sun, and they will not even consider a light delay. It seems to be absolute light. Boom, it does. Whether it is 150 million away or just around the corner, close to the moon. They wave and say, hey moon, hey sun, as they pass each other. We don't know. The one thing that is obvious, and it can't be argued with this is what gives me the shit, okay? There is no light delay. Sun, moon, the moon shadow, you can see it. And then the sweet spot, these things. That's a magnet, by the way. Keeps catching me off guard. Sweet spot, shadow, the moon and the sun. 4 things. You have 4 things in line. You try and get 4 things in line in everyday life. Get 4 marbles and get them perfectly in line. We are talking a laser straight line, which is why you can see Baily's beads. Just as the moon crosses that last bit with a telescope, you can see the mountainous terrain on the moon because of the sun directly behind, whether it be 150 million kilometers or just up the road is yet to be confirmed. What are you talking about? NASA out the pictures. You are not being objective when you say that. I am being objective. No, there are no pictures yet that can be believed. It is a fact. No, but we all know that. Stop it. You are not being objective. You have been taught stuff at an early age. Not taught. You know how they shovel coal into some steam engines and this constant feeding of stuff, that does not go away. For it to go away, one would have to suddenly adopt a sense of logic and common sense to overcome that. That's what I have been trying to do, right? You guys who say, yes, there are photons there, 8 minutes and 20 seconds of light delay. It's there. And I'm looking at it going, where? It is there, just, no, where? It doesn't matter what I say, how many times I explain it, or how I explain that you cannot be stood in the shadow being created by block photons that have been traveling for 8 minutes and 20 seconds from here to get to there, and at the very same time, behind there where they've arrived after traveling for 8 minutes and 20 seconds, behind that, you poke your head around, you can see the light source that radiated those photons 8 minutes and 20 seconds earlier. Huh? What's happening there is exactly the same age as what is happening there. Therefore, this 8 minute and 20 second gap is non-existent. It's absolute light. There is no delay. Look, there is no delay. You guys you love the photon. You love the shoulders of giants. Like I say, you're gagging for it. You love it. It doesn't matter what I say. You will always choose presumption over actual evidence because the speed of light thing, that list, there are so many names on that BS list that, of course, if you've been taught the speed of light is 299,792,458 meters per second at school since day one, and then you went to high school and then they drum it into you even more when you're 17 or 18 or in your 20s and 30s and you find yourself on social media and you meet me, I will say, oh, light is absolute. You'll go, dude, we need more physics classes, more science classes. And I probably throw a little laughing emoji. Now, I used to get involved, but it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive. I have seen all of the possible comments that could ever come from people who have been taught. I mean, if you could see the chats that I have all the same. They are all the same. Me, Dunning-Kruger. Don't know what you're talking about, mate. Get more physics into you. You obviously dropped out of school at an early age. Yes, guilty. I did drop out of school at an early age. I used to hate it. It didn't make sense. I didn't really absorb much, which is probably why I am objective now. 8, 9 schools in 3 different countries. Bang, 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 bang. Nowhere long enough for them to plant any seeds. There was no time. Any seed that ever was tried to be planted in my head got fucking thrown out within a week because I was moving to somewhere else. Lucky me. I see things for what they are, people. No, you just need more science classes. No, you should have taken less science classes because so much of the that's another one of these memes. Oh. Anybody who disagrees, or if you ever have a disagreement with the scientists, you are wrong. That's all there is to it. And then another, that thing there, the amount of times I've had that posted, it drives me nuts. Anybody, if you ever have a disagreement with a scientist, you are wrong. It's this mentality that I do not understand. You mean if I have any kind of disagreement with a scientist, like those people who told most of humanity that science didn't care about their common sense, I'm wrong. Folks, you're very, very misguided. Seriously, I mean, the direction is there. I may be going, over there. I like to think I'm close to where the correct path is. But you guys, with that as one of your moral compass headings, guys, you're aiming that way. You don't get it. You do not get it. I don't know what's happened. All I know is if any of you were kids when I was a kid, you wouldn't see things like you're seeing them now. Your mentality would be different. Your outlook on life would be different. The things that you would believe without questioning wouldn't be very many. My grandmother used to say, don't trust anyone. Every time I saw her, don't trust anyone, Paul. Like, what about you, Nan? Don't even trust me. Do not trust anyone. I tell you what, she was right. She was right. The best advice, I didn't get on with her. We didn't get on. I did steal money from, but I was a kid, that kind of tearaway relationship. But in the end, they bought me a motorbike when I was 14, 75cc. I'm sure they bought it. They hoped I would kill myself, but I didn't, right? What I'm saying is, my grandmother, that was the one phrase that I remember about my grandmother. Don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody. She meant anybody. Thanks, Nan. Thank you. The best advice I ever received from anybody. And I learned that many, many years ago. She was right. She was right. In this life, if you get to the finish line with 2, even 1 or 2, 3 good, loyal friends that you can talk to, if 5 years go by and nothing has changed, you're winning. You're winning. It's true. I could count the true friends I have on earth. I wouldn't need all of these fingers. It's a fact. It really is. Don't trust anybody. Government, don't trust anybody. Yeah, but the science, don't trust anybody. This early education thing, I'm not sure that people are understanding how important this is. And I've got a funny feeling, like, say this objectivity, every few people have commented, I need people to understand right here. Anybody who has been taught science, the latest stuff from an early age, you cannot look at many things objectively. You simply cannot. You will ignore evidence that contradicts what you have been taught, and you will fabricate evidence to support, to piggyback what you have been taught. It happens. Presumption, it's your favorite pastime. The speed of light. Where is that list, right? I say no. Light is absolute. And the most common comment that I get is, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. The speed of light has been measured hundreds, if not thousands of times by loads of people. Far out, dude. GPS wouldn't work, LIGO wouldn't work, etc, etc, etc. Flush all that down the toilet. One thing, this is why I say, trust your own judgment. Believe what is in front of your eyes. Life becomes, it's a breath of fresh air when you know where you stand, when you know where the bullshit is and the lies are, because you use logic and common sense and you are objective. You don't look at something and make something up so that it doesn't conflict too much with what you already believe. You will sugarcoat things a little bit. I don't care if it is a head-on with something that I believe. I will just switch. This generation, when I have been wrong, I'm fucking wrong. I am human. Well, there's a part of me that's still human, right? Hand up. I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. And people do not. They refuse. And politicians, do you know how many times our lives have been affected by one of them not admitting they were wrong? Look, if you know, you know, all right? People will not admit to being wrong. People will ignore you for the rest of your life rather than have to come up and say, sorry, you were right. It's this thing. I don't know what it is. Me, I don't give a shit if I'm wrong. If I am wrong, if I do something, I post something that's wrong, I just hope I'm the first one. And 2-3 times over the last few years, bang, I have done another complete post because I missed 3 zeros out on one of the things. I'm human. I make mistakes. I have made more mistakes than Simon Dan has had hot dinners. Seriously. Possibly. I once said to Simon Dan, I've been on more flights, on more planes than you've had hot dinners. And turns out he was a bit of a traveller. So I hadn't. I got that one wrong as well. But I dare say, I would comfortably say, I have made more mistakes in this life than Simon Dan has had hot dinners. Like proper dinners with the veggies and everything, not a freaking hot dog or a hamburger. Folks, I don't know what's happened, right? I don't know what's happened. Well, I do. They have, politicians or those in charge, we can't say the politicians anymore because it's obviously they're not running the show. They have just lowered to rock bottom the level of vibration on this planet, right? Because now, if you say something wrong to somebody and they get offended, and you could find yourself in court because of something that 30 years ago, you just suck it up and carry on. This planet now is Earth now. It is about victimhood. People like being the victim. When you're a victim, you kind of zigzag out of the way of responsibility and owning shit. No, yeah, because of that, go off. There are true victims. There are voluntary victims who simply cannot stand up and own their shit. So they have to blame other people. It's lame, it's weak. It never used to be like this. We all used to talk logic, common sense. We owned our shit. It was great. Now, you have somebody saying one thing and smiling at you, and they might be meaning something else and be giving you the daggers. Luckily for me, I can tell. I am a judge of character, I think 100% record so far. And if you're going to lie to me, I will know that you are going to lie to me before you even know you're going to lie to me. It's like that. It's human nature aspect. Too many situations, too many altercations, too many scuffles, too many blitzkriegs. You get to learn about the human condition. Psychology, schools, books, real life. Every single time. They don't tell you everything in books. Sometimes people go for therapy. Like, I don't know, somebody's been sexually abused and they go to therapy and talk to a 20-something-year-old person who has never been sexually abused. How on earth could that person, look, it's this kind of a thing. It's all become a circus. But a circus that has a net that is getting smaller and smaller. And unless people start thinking for themselves and start changing the things, the important things in their lives to something important rather than the absurdities that they think are important now, that net is going to get to the stage where our children are not going to fucking be able to get out of it. That is the truth. And sometimes the things that people are talking about sometimes on social media. I'm on social media. I have to be, right? Some of the things, I look at these things and go, do these people know what is going on around the world? Do these people know? Because it sure doesn't look like it. The things are so pointless and insignificant, but there is so much of it. It honestly makes me wonder, who are these people? What is it? Their biggest worry in life is a chipped nail. Like a chipped nail, darling. Where are you right now? Can you see what is going on? My heart goes out to all those trying to make a difference, right? Now, back to the reason that I am having so many clashes with people, science people, and they think, even though it's non-existent, it's not there to be seen, right? These people think that light is finite, that it travels at 299,792 kilometers per second. Therefore, 150 million kilometers away, 8 minutes and 20 seconds, 108 sun diameters in between the sun and Earth, with a diameter of 1,390,000 kilometers. Multiply that by 108, each diameter, it takes the sun 4.6 seconds. It's light to travel, speed of light divided into the sun's diameter, 4.6. 108 suns to get to Earth. 108 suns. Each of those suns, it's taking light 4.6 seconds. Calm down. Done well so far. I talk about this. I can see why I didn't bring it up so often. How fucking people think it takes 4.6 seconds for a star to radiate its own light the distance of its own diameter? Where's that bulb? Let's not do it. The reason people believe this absurdity is because it has been taught and hammered in during the child's emotional years. Then you have a little bit of a top up as you go through your teens and you come out of the system ready to attack anybody who would suggest that light doesn't travel at 299,792 kilometers per second. You will attack. It doesn't matter what evidence you see, because it isn't about the evidence anymore. What it is now is human nature. It's going to take a lot of slaps upside the head for somebody in that mindset to realize that, hang on, what's going on here? Why am I believing this? And to get to that stage, right there, for a second, a day or two, there might be nausea and vertigo, confusion, as clarity kicks in. Boom! And you wake up. You're one of us now. Spread the word. Light is absolute. People who have learnt 299,792 kilometers per second through the curriculum, the moon landings, same curriculum, over and over. I went to school in the US, not for long enough to know that NASA visits all of the schools with propaganda, con fotos de la luna, moon photos, moon landing. Look at that, you want to be an astronaut when you grow up? This is why it is a lie that has continued. How did they? They fooled the control room. A handful of people fooled the control room. The control room believed it. The press. When you have the control room and the press right there and the control room believes it, you have yourselves a story. It's going to be good. Like I did a post on this last year. Go back and check all of the Mars missions. When Perseverance, seriously, if you are interested, go and check. In the background, in the control rooms, you'll see some lone wolves and they're monitoring everything. They are running the show. They are there to make sure everything runs smooth. When you see one of the people on one of the monitors and there's a few people gathered round and this person might be going, and the chute's opened, and then there's a pause and, did it land? Did it not land? Did it land? They don't make up the yes or no. It comes from the A team. They decide. Nobody, nothing that has ever landed on anything has had something transparent that everybody can see, right? It is a pre-programmed bitch. That's what it is. Do you remember a couple of years ago, right, that India shot that thing up there, right? It's just so obvious. How many rockets? Every now and again you'll get something going up for something, something else going up for something. Every now and again we hear that one did manage to orbit the moon, but it's gone missing, just like Apollo 13. They have to throw a couple of near misses and stuff in. Here's the thing. You know for a fact that the India, what was it called? I can't remember, was gonna land on the moon. Do you know why? Because There was control rooms in America with loads of people in live. In India, it was control room people gathered around, science people in the UK. And you could see all of these places. Isn't it a coincidence that as that mission played out, it landed? It just so happened to be one where all of those people, some travelled from one country to another to be in a specific control room for the mission. It was always going to land. These things are so obvious. It's a human nature thing again. Human nature. Do not underestimate the power. When you know what motivates people, when you know why people do things, it takes a lot out of life. But you learn to work with it, right? It does make pointless interactions pointless. You know, like that thing says, if we're not talking about solar eclipses, the sun and whatever, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. If you are not objective, it is not your fault. It is schooling, right? It is your emotional years. In those years, they mix and match. Put a few seeds in, hammer a couple of nails home, go to your teenage years, a few more things are, reinforced, and off you go, you chaotic little mother. Go and start a war somewhere, because your values will be different than everybody else's. It's about values as well. I mean, there are none anymore, I don't think. It's just insane. But here's the thing, this is what I'm saying, and this is very, very important. Being objective, I say, right? That's what I've been saying over the last day. Are there people out there that don't even know that they can't be objective? There obviously will be. There'll be people going, what does that even mean? Shut up, mate, you don't know what you're talking about. You're saying that because you're not objective. Listen, you're talking rubbish. That's what happens. They are saying what they're saying because they cannot be objective. They are biased, and that bias entered their game decades earlier sometimes. It doesn't matter that there is no sign anywhere of finite light, of Mickey Mouse photons flying all over the shop. It doesn't matter that they're not visible. They are there somewhere for the people who cannot be objective. What I'm saying that is very important is that those people who are not viewing a solar eclipse objectively, they must understand that they cannot be objective. If you're looking at a solar eclipse and you don't realize that you're being subjective, you don't realize that what your opinions are, what you see, if you cannot understand that most of what you see is through conditioning, not through the evidence that you're seeing, if you cannot understand that, then another couple of days explaining this, right? It's not me suffering from Dunning-Kruger, right? There is no visible light delay. There is no visible or invisible. There aren't any variables that we don't know about here, folks. Sun, moon. In between us and the sun is the moon, and we have a shadow. Straight line, boom. There aren't many things that come as logically clear-cut and easy to read as a moon positioning itself in front of a sun. It's really A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. I don't even think we need the C or the 3. It's A, B, 1, 2. But no, the explanations that I have been given for where the invisible massless packets of invisible massless photons are, it's borderline insane. And they say that I am suffering from Dunning-Kruger. They've just made a whole hocus pocus scenario up. And that's where the photons are. That is where the light delay is. No, it's not. 10. You must understand when you're observing a solar eclipse, if you think there is a light delay there somewhere, you are not being objective. You are seeing what is expected of you. That is what school was for. You think it's for learning, it's not. It's for conditioning. Nowadays, I pulled my son out of 2 science exams last year because they were illogical. I knew they were illogical. When you ask a science teacher to explain something that they are asking the students to explain, and the teacher cannot explain it, there is a problem. Did you hear that? Teachers are asking children to explain something, science. Children aren't too sure. If you ask that teacher to explain, like the half-life situation with, what is it? Uranium-238 or whatever it is. Explain that. It's in the test. So do you mind explaining it to me? Just so I know that you know. No, because it is illogical. There is a speed bump in the half-life theory. It's rubbish. It is illogical. It doesn't work. You don't know what you're talking about. It's Dunning-Kruger. No. I go through these things step by step. There is a speed bump. Anybody who, look, you cannot give a logical explanation for how a life, an estimate of 4.5 billion years came up on whatever rock it is. There is no logical route. There isn't. And if you think there is, let me give you a PDF. This is what I have done to a few people who say, you don't know what you're talking about. This rock here, it's 4.5 billion years old. This rock here is only 1 million years old. Okay? Right. I give these to you. Now, you go back the other way. Not the half-life and then that means no. You know that this is 4.5 billion years old because I'm telling you. This is 1 million years old. Trust me,